Hi, in this video we're going to change the subject of the formula where the subject has some square root or a root around it. Now, to make x the subject of the formula means to get it on one side of the equation on its own. So we need to get this x on its own on one side of the equation. And we do that by gradually undoing the things around it, like unpeeling an onion, if you like. So let's think what's happening to x. It's being square rooted and then it's been multiplied by this a. So we always undo the last thing that happened to the subject. So we undo the times by a by doing the opposite, which is dividing both sides by a. So we divide the left-hand side by a and the right-hand side. Wherever we do to one side of the equation, we do the same to the other. So now we have y squared over a. Remember, when you divide by something, you can just write as a fraction over that thing. And then the right-hand side, the divide by a gets rid of that a on the front. So we're just left with root x. Now, how do we get rid of the square root around this x? Well, we do the opposite of square rooting, which is squaring. The opposite of square rooting is squaring. So we're going to square both sides of the equation. Now, if we square the left-hand side, we can just put this whole fraction in a bracket squared like that. If I didn't have this bracket and I had just y squared over a squared like that, it's not clear whether that squared is on just the numerator or the whole fraction. So therefore, we put brackets around the fraction to say this squared is applying to the whole fraction. Just makes it unambiguous. And then the right-hand side, the squared cancels out the square root, leaving just x. And now we're done because we've got x on one side of the equation on its own. If you wanted to, you could actually square this fraction. Remember, when you square a fraction, you square the numerator and square the denominator. So when you square y squared, that's y squared times y squared, which is y to the power of 4. Remember, you just add the indices. Or you can also think of it as y squared to the power of 2. It's a power to a power, so you multiply the indices. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then the a, the denominator, is also squared, so you get a squared equals x, like that. So now we are definitely done. We've got x on one side of the equation on its own.